The tools that I used for this project are my orbital sander. You can definitely sand this down by hand, but it will take a little bit longer. Going to be using a power drill with a masonry bit, which will go through the concrete in my backyard fireplace, and also a smaller drill to pre-drill my holes for my wood. And of course, a nail gun. You'll also need an impact driver, which I forgot to add in before. And then as far as the other items, you will need a stain or paint of your choosing, a spatula, wood filler, pencils, various sandpaper rounds, a measuring tape, wood glue, 3-inch construction screws, 1 1/4 wood screws. Now sizes depend on your fireplace, but I did 3 pieces at 48 inches each and then 2 end caps. Before I can even really start this tutorial, I did want to mention that when I show you guys stuff on my channel, it is actually, for the most part, my first time taking a stab at it, and so this project was no different. It was brand new to me. I've never made a mantle before. I'm very new to woodworking, so I thought I could glue pieces together, angle out the edges, and be like some super pro, and I wasn't. I just didn't calculate anything right, but it was trial and error, and it made me see what I had to fix in my second attempt, which also ended up failing. So believe it or not, I went back to a method I've done before on my channel, which is actually like a planter box style. I shaved off those angled edges and just had them be straight. I put the 3 pieces together like so, like a little table. I tacked the pieces together with my nail gun. That way I could measure the little opening to cut a piece of wood that can shimmy right on in there. Third time was a charm. This was much better. I don't know why I try to make things so much more difficult, but that's the price you pay when you try to learn how to progress in your skill. It just didn't work out for me this time. I decided to drill all these together to really secure it. So I pre-drilled some holes with my smaller drill bit and then screwed in those 1 1/4 screws to make sure everything was golden. I sanded down the wood starting with an 80 grit and working my way to a 120, and then to fill the holes, instead of doing wood filler, I decided to cut down a dowel that I had on hand to size. I seen a little Instagram tip about doing this, so I added a drop of wood glue and a small piece of dowel to cover it up. That way I didn't have to use as much wood filler. After all of that, I went in with my putty knife and my wood filler and just filled the holes and the cracks that I wanted to get rid of. I got the color changing wood filler, so it goes from pink to the natural tone to let you know when it's dry. So when it is dry, you want to go in with a finer grit sandpaper and just sand it down smooth to the wood. I decided to distress the wood a little bit, and honestly there's no right or wrong way to do this. I just took screws and my hammer and some bits and just kind of poked and prodded at the wood until I liked how it looked. I'm using a poly and a stain mixture in one, so I'm just going over the wood with 2 coats of this, and it's an American walnut stain. There are a lot of ways to DIY how to attach the mantle to the fireplace. One way is cutting a piece of wood at a 45-degree angle down the middle. This way, the 2 angles, when you flip and have them meet, one will be attached to the actual fireplace and the second will be attached to the mantle, and they'll kind of just hang onto each other. But I didn't do this way because it wasn't going to work with my angled fireplace. I ended up attaching that piece of wood to 3 chunkier pieces of wood. I actually also had to cut the top of the chunky piece off to make it a flat surface for the mantle to actually go onto. So I held it up to my fireplace, and with my pre-drilled holes, I just kind of marked where it was going to be level with my masonry bit and my impact driver and drilled those holes as deep as the screws and then secured it to the actual fireplace. Once that was for sure in the fireplace, I added the mantle cover and then screwed from the top of the mantle into those chunky pieces of wood, which held it nice, straight, and secure. I didn't record this step for whatever reason, but you do want to go around the mantle and caulk it and just make sure it's sealed and weatherproof properly, depending on the weather in your area. But then all that there's left to do after that is decorate it to your liking. Everybody's taste is different, and what you see right here is a bunch of black accents because for the most part, my furniture in the backyard is white, and so I'm doing black and white with pops of green, and I cannot wait to give you a tour. The decoration that you see on here is actually from my dollar store backyard video, so I'll link that for you. But I hope you guys enjoyed this DIY, even though it isn't the most professional. Just wanted to show you guys that no matter what DIY may be difficult, if you just stick through to the end, it might not be the perfect final product, but it's yours and you did it and you learned something new. This is the last call, the last day to enter the giveaway that's going on the community tab on my channel. So if you want to have a private Q&A with me, go over there and check it out. I'll see you Sunday with another DIY.